hang on.
No, we
Listen,
don't.
I think you ought to leave, you know, because...
BBC's Question Time is a renowned political debate program that has aired since 1979. Hosted currently by Fiona Bruce, the show brings together a diverse panel of politicians, commentators, and public figures to discuss and debate pressing political and social issues. Each episode features questions from a live audience, sparking lively and often contentious discussions. The program has become a cornerstone of British political discourse, known for its heated exchanges, insightful debates, and sometimes controversial moments. Join Facts vs. UK to see why you should be tuning in to Question Time if you enjoy a good laugh.
As much as any of us, I enjoy seeing Nigel Farage in a boozer with a pint and a fag, laughing off his latest scandals about breastfeeding or whatever. I enjoy it. But this man is not a cartoon character. He ain't Del Boy. He ain't Arthur Daly. He is a pound shop Enoch Powell, and we gotta watch him.
Perhaps one of the most loved and hated guests on Question Time has been Nigel Farage. He's almost always one of the voices on the panel who upsets the views of others. As a result, one can always expect a tussle between Mr. Farage and another panelist, or perhaps all of them. One of the most famous clashes has been between Nigel Farage and Russell Brand. While Brand is now known for his YouTube channel and his outspoken and articulate views, in those days he was just known to be outspoken and critical of anything he disagreed with. The clashes between Nigel and Russell on BBC's Question Time in December 2014 remain some of the most memorable in the show's history. From the outset, the tension between the two was palpable. Brand wasted no time in criticizing Farage, labeling him as a pound shop Enoch Powell, accusing him of exploiting public fears and stoking xenophobia for political gain. Brand's rhetoric was sharp and impassioned as he denounced Farage for his immigration policies and what he perceived as a divisive approach to politics. Farage responded to Brand with characteristic bluntness. He dismissed Brand's comments as the ramblings of a celebrity out of touch with ordinary people. Farage argued that his policies addressed genuine concerns about immigration and sovereignty, issues he claimed were ignored by mainstream political parties. He accused Brand of offering no real solutions and criticized his calls for revolution as unrealistic and irresponsible. David Starkey.
What I'm trying to do is to illustrate that people don't like being freed. They tend to mistake, they mistake liberators for conquerors, which is exactly what's happened in Afghanistan, which is exactly what's happened in Iraq, which is, a testament of shame to Britain and America, of utter disgrace.
David Starkey's appearances on Question Time have been punctuated by remarks that often provoke outrage among fellow panelists and the audience. His outspoken and often inflammatory comments have positioned him as a controversial figure in British public discourse. One notable clash occurred in March 2012 when Starkey criticized Islam during a discussion that included journalist Mehdi Hasan. Starkey suggested that Islam had a totalitarian tendency and linked it to violence, remarks which Hasan, a prominent Muslim commentator, found deeply offensive. Hasan rebutted Starkey's comments by highlighting the diversity within the Muslim community and condemning the historian's sweeping generalizations. The exchange was tense, to say the least. In another controversial episode, Starkey drew criticism for his comments about railway workers during a debate on strikes and public sector jobs. Starkey provocatively stated that many railway workers could be, quote, easily replaced by dummies, implying their work was of little value. The remark was met with anger and disbelief from fellow panelists in the audience, who saw it as a demeaning and dismissive attitude towards the contributions of working-class people. Starkey's views on women in politics have also sparked controversy. In one episode, he suggested it might not be ideal for women to get involved in politics, questioning their suitability for leadership roles. This remark was immediately challenged by female panelists and audience members who criticized Starkey for perpetuating outdated and sexist stereotypes. Despite the frequent backlash, Starkey has remained unapologetic, often defending his right to free speech and to express controversial opinions. Murray versus Alibhai-Brown.
Osama bin Laden did not allow any of the 3,000 people in New York and Washington on 9/11 any rights. He took away every single right that any of the people in those cars or their families had.
Perhaps they should have called the fire brigade for this one because Douglas Murray was on fire. The exchange between Douglas Murray and Yasmin Alibhai-Brown is remembered as one of the show's most fiery and controversial moments. The debate centered on the assassination of Osama bin Laden. Murray, a conservative commentator, argued that the killing of bin Laden was justified and morally right, seeing it as a necessary act in the fight against terrorism. He praised the operation, asserting bin Laden's death was a significant victory for justice and security. In stark contrast, journalist and writer Yasmin Alibhai-Brown condemned the assassination, arguing that it violated international law. She insisted that bin Laden should have been captured and tried in a court of law, emphasizing the importance of upholding legal and ethical standards, even in the face of terrorism. The fall of Nick Griffin.
I shared a platform with David Duke, who was once a leader of a Ku Klux Klan, always a totally non-violent one, incidentally.
Nick Griffin's appearance on BBC's Question Time in October 2009 remains one of the most controversial episodes in the show's history. Griffin, then leader of the British National Party, was known for his far-right views, including his anti-immigration stance and controversial comments on race. The decision to invite him onto the program sparked widespread outrage and protests. Critics argued that giving Griffin a platform legitimized his extremist views and provided undue attention to a party known for its divisive and inflammatory rhetoric. The episode was marked by intense scrutiny and high emotions. Griffin faced fierce opposition from fellow panelists, including Justice Secretary Jack Straw, Liberal Democrat Chris Huhne, and playwright Bonnie Greer. The audience was also particularly vocal, challenging Griffin on his party's policies and his past statements. Throughout the program, Griffin struggled to defend his positions, often appearing flustered and evasive. One of the key moments came when Griffin attempted to distance himself from his previous denial of the Holocaust, a move that was met with skepticism and further criticism. His attempts to present the BNP as a legitimate political party were undermined by his inability to coherently respond to questions about his past and the BNP's policies. Ironically, the outcome of Griffin's appearance had the opposite effect of what many had feared. Instead of garnering support, the BNP saw a significant decline in public backing. Many viewers were reportedly repelled by Griffin's views, and the scrutiny he faced highlighted the inherent flaws and extremism within the BNP's platform. Griffin's Question Time appearance is a striking example of how exposing extremist views to public scrutiny can undermine their credibility. The episode remains a landmark moment in British television, illustrating the power of open debate in challenging and ultimately discrediting extreme political ideologies. Shropshire Lad.
Into my heart an air that kills from yon far country blows. What are those blue remembered hills? What spires, what farms are those? It is the land of lost content. I see it shining plain, those happy highways where I went and cannot come again.
During an episode of BBC's Question Time, an audience member challenged the panelists to recite a poem. Initially, no panelist could fulfill the request, with most dismissing the importance of poetry. But journalist Peter Hitchens rose to the occasion, reciting A Shropshire Lad by A.E. Housman. Following his recital, Hitchens delivered a heartfelt speech on the significance of poetry, emphasizing its role in connecting individuals to British culture and heritage. His unexpected contribution highlighted the enduring value of poetry in understanding and appreciating the nation's cultural identity. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Question Time has been effective in shaping public opinion and holding politicians accountable? Let us know in the comment section below.